$100 in 1971. Today, that same $100 buys you roughly 12. Nobody robbed you. There was no crash. The money just quietly lost its grip. And here's the part nobody tells you. That wasn't an accident. It was a choice, a deliberate one, made over and over by people who knew exactly what they were doing. This is part one of the story of how money actually works, how every system before this one ended the same way, and why the thing that finally breaks the pattern needs its own video, which is part two. This isn't about getting rich. It's about understanding a game you were never told you were playing. So let's start at the beginning, the real beginning. For most of human history, money was gold and silver. Scarce, durable, trusted everywhere, from Rome to China to the markets of the Middle East. And here's why it worked. You couldn't print gold. You had to dig it out of the ground, and that was hard on purpose. The difficulty was the feature. It meant no king, no emperor, no government could simply conjure more of it when they felt like spending. But gold has a problem. It's heavy, hard to carry, hard to split, easy to lose. So governments and banks handed out paper instead. Paper you could trade back in for gold on demand. That was the gold standard. The paper itself was worthless. It was just a claim, a receipt for something real sitting in a vault. And as long as that claim was honest, the system held. Then came 1944. World War II is ending. The old world order is in ruins, and the winners need a new financial system to rebuild on. So delegates from 44 nations meet at a hotel in Bretton Woods, New Hampshire, and they build something new. Every major currency pegged to the US dollar, and the dollar itself convertible to gold, $35 an ounce, fixed, locked in. The idea was elegant. The dollar became the world's reserve currency, but it was still chained to something real. Gold was the anchor. For a couple of decades, that held. The dollar was, in their words, good as gold. Then 1971 happened. By the late 60s, the US was spending far more than it actually had. Vietnam, the space race, social programs, deficits stacking on deficits. So the government printed more dollars than it had gold to back. And other countries noticed. France, especially, started showing up and demanding their gold in exchange for the paper dollars they were holding. The vault was draining. So on August 15th, 1971, President Nixon went on television and made a decision. He cut the cord. No more converting dollars to gold. He called it temporary. It was never reversed. And just like that, the last tie between money and something real was gone. Every currency on Earth was now floating, backed by nothing but government decree. That's what fiat means. Latin for, let it be done. Money that has value purely because the state says it does, and because everyone agrees to keep pretending. Here's why that single moment matters more than almost anything else in modern finance. When money is tied to something finite, like gold, there's a hard ceiling on how much can exist. But when you cut that tie, the ceiling vanishes. You can make more, as much as you want. Central banks do it by lowering interest rates, by buying bonds and assets, by what people loosely call printing. The mechanics are technical. The result is simple. More money created out of nothing. And printing is politically irresistible. Think about it. You can fund a war without raising taxes. You can bail out a failing bank. You can stimulate an economy in a recession. You can paper over a deficit. To a politician, it feels free. No one votes against free, but it is not free. Someone always pays. When you add more money without adding more real goods and services, each unit of money is worth a little less. That's debasement. And what you feel on the other end is inflation. Prices going up. Or more accurately, your money going down. 2% a year sounds harmless, a rounding error. But money compounds, and so does its decay. Run 2 to 3% for 50 years, and you get our opening line. $100 in 1971. Worth roughly $12 today. That is the silent theft. It doesn't make headlines. It doesn't feel like a crime. But it transfers wealth, quietly, from everyone holding cash to whoever gets the new money first. And it hits savers, retirees, and the poor the hardest because they hold the most cash and have the least access to assets that rise with the tide. Now you might be thinking, sure, but that's an American problem. The dollar's mess. It isn't. This is global, and that's the part that should make you sit up. Take Singapore. Famously disciplined, prudent, a government with a reputation for not wasting a cent, and even Singapore cannot fully escape. The Singapore dollar is a managed float. To keep its exports competitive when all of its major trading partners are printing and devaluing, Singapore can't afford to let its own currency get too strong for too long, or its goods become too expensive to sell. So it has to play along. It has to ease too. Even the careful ones get pulled into the current. That's the key insight. No single nation can opt out of a global game where everyone else is printing. It's a race, and standing still means falling behind. There's a number that captures the whole thing. It's called M2, broad money supply, the total amount of currency and easily spendable money in an economy. And the real story isn't any one country. It's the world, moving together. Since the 2008 financial crisis, and then on a staggering scale after COVID in 2020, central banks everywhere opened the floodgates. The US Federal Reserve, the European Central Bank, the Bank of Japan, China. Trillions upon trillions of new units created in a matter of months. There was no matching jump in real productivity, no sudden doubling of the world's goods. Just far more money, chasing the same amount of stuff. The result was predictable, and we all lived through it. So here's the natural response. Fine. If cash is melting, I'll just hold something else. Real assets. And that instinct is correct. It's exactly why house prices, stock markets, and gold have all marched relentlessly upward for decades. People are fleeing the leaking boat. But here is the uncomfortable truth that ties this whole episode together. Every one of those escape hatches has a leak of its own. Real estate. They can always build more houses, more apartments, more supply. And property is taxed, illiquid, and tied to a physical location. Stocks. Companies issue new shares, diluting the ones you hold. And a company can fail, mismanage itself, or simply go out of fashion. Bonds. You are literally lending money that's being debased and getting paid back in weaker units. And gold? Gold is the best of them, the original sound money. But even gold isn't truly fixed. Miners pull more out of the ground every single year. Roughly 1 to 2% more supply, annually. When the price rises, mining gets more profitable, so they dig even harder, and supply expands to meet demand. It's slow, but it is not zero. Gold fails the perfect scarcity test, just by a smaller margin than everything else. So sit with that for a second. Cash is designed to lose value, and almost every asset people run to in order to escape it can also be inflated. More houses, more shares, more gold. The supply always responds, which leaves one enormous unanswered question. Is there anything at all, with a supply that absolutely cannot be increased? No matter the price, no matter the demand, no matter who's in charge, every asset inflates, except one. And that One thing is exactly what part 2 is about. The single asset engineered from the very first line of code to make debasement mathematically impossible. We'll break down the 21 million, why no one can change it, and what's actually happening with it right now in 2026, the honest version, hype stripped out. So before part 2, sit with the real question. Is money built to lose value a deliberate policy choice, an unavoidable cost of growth, or a problem only fixed money can solve? Hold your answer. This is part 1 of 2. If you want that, part 2 is where the fix begins. This is the channel that explains Bitcoin straight. No hype, no fairy tales. Just how the machine actually works. Money is designed to lose value. In part 2, I'll show you the one thing built to escape it. See you there.